ever since I was a child, I just sort of knew that God had adoption for me, that was going to be part of my story. I had shared that with Scott before we got married, that was a desire of mine, and that I felt the Lord had that for me specifically. And he agreed. That sounds, like something we could pray about one day and pursue. So I think 2 years into marriage, we started talking about kids and starting a family. So we began the process of adoption with a private agency in Ohio where we were living at the time. And we would sort of get these like birth mother profiles sent to us, which felt like such a strange situation because you're, saying, yes, please show this birth mom our family. And we pretty much said yes to everything. We had determined at the outset adoption for us was not a way to pick and choose the perfect child or the child that looked like they genetically, biologically came from us.
An openness, right? We had
Yes.
a level of openness to whatever the Lord would have for us.
Yes. And so we saw her birth mom's profile come through and instantly felt like, okay, this is going to be a leap of faith because it was out of state. So we knew the cost was going to be more. And we started praying, okay, Lord, we feel again your calling on this. And so should we say yes? And so we did. And she chose us. And which has been a sweet thing to be able to share with Ruby. Now we say, your birth mom chose us to be your mom and dad, but ultimately God chose us, and he chose you to be a Stevens.
Yeah, so once we had Ruby, we decided to step into foster care, and we got a call about a little boy who needed a home for about a weekend. The information about foster care is not great. And so we thought this was a little boy, he wasn't walking yet, just a little baby. This kid, it's true he wasn't walking, he was running into our home. And I remember getting a picture from Allison when I was at work of this kid. And he's here, this little boy. We were not expecting to adopt as we initiated a foster care placement, but a kid that decided to come into our home initially for a weekend, it turned into forever. Yeah, so here we are, 2 kids. We're out of diapers. Our family's stable. This is easy street, We're playing man-to-man. There's no zone necessary at this point. And I remember having a date night with Allison, and our ongoing topic of discussion had been, do you leave the comfortable 2 to introduce 3? Then we're at a different ballgame.
Yeah, we're moving into the minivan.
That's
and
right.
You add a third, yeah.
That's right. So the Lord had been stirring all along the way, but it kind of came to a head at dinner, and we said, yes, this is certainly what the Lord would require of us, of our family, and the means by which we should take the next step of adoption. And wouldn't you know, that very next day, friends of ours asked if they could come over to our house, and they had mentioned that the Lord had stirred in them, actually from a video at Summit about foster care and adoption, that they ought to be a part of adoption, but it wasn't right for their family. And so the Lord had moved both of them independently and then again together to offer to sponsor us in our adoption process. And isn't it just how the Lord works? Isn't it just how the Lord works to meet a need abundantly more, and before it's even asked? How dare I even think that the Lord can provide when he calls? That was a sweet part of this story too, that we had seen in all of our children's lives. God saying, look, I'll provide.